What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about why it's important that we pay attention to Project 2025. Now, I already know that you've ran into some black people who will have you believe that Project 2025 is something that's not important. Something that you shouldn't be thinking about. Something that you shouldn't pay attention to. Something that has nothing to do with Donald Trump's presidency or whatever. You'll have black people who are unaware of how politics works try to convince you that 2025 is nothing to pay attention to. And that right there is very dangerous, and that's why I'm talking about it today. Because the thing is, this is the age of information, right? So the way we consume has to be different. Right? The reason why all these people in suits can get away with the things that they get away with is because the masses don't pay attention to what they're saying, and the masses don't have the ability at the moment that they're hearing the information to comprehend fully the particular words used by politicians, people in suits, right? And because we recognize pattern, human beings are pattern recognition, like we master that. That's how we operate. You know, and it's just we're pattern recognizers, right? We're very good at it. So we recognize subconsciously that people in suits are supposedly important, that we should listen to people who are wearing suits, right? That's why you look at these politicians, they're all wearing suits. We hold them to a higher esteem, right? The visuals that they're giving us. The pattern says, you look professional, you're in a suit, I should listen to you, you might know what you're talking about, right? You know, versus somebody who's not wearing a suit. He may be sitting in his car or something. He clearly can't know what he's talking about because he's not in a suit. And he's in his car and he's not standing in front of some big shiny building or whatever, right? Or his background doesn't have an American flag in the back, some other random flags or whatever. You know what I mean, right? But the thing is, politicians they don't really hide, they hide things in the details. You ever heard the devil's in the details? So while you have these black people telling you that Project 2025 is not important and we shouldn't pay attention to it and we should go ahead and vote for the Republicans anyway, what those black people are doing are telling you to go jump into the lava, go jump into the volcano because it's 90 degrees outside. It's 90 degrees outside, so I want you to go to cool yourself off, go jump inside the volcano. Don't worry about it being hot. That lava, not gonna do nothing to you, it's not important, don't worry. You'll float right on top of it. That's basically what they're saying. Project 2025 was crafted by the founders of the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is the non-governmental organization that is the center and the body of conservatism in America. They are also a branch of conservatism worldwide. So when you hear black Kunarians talking about right-wing conservatism is spreading worldwide, what's really happening in the real world, right-wing extremists are responding to the fact that their homeland are being overran by brown people who the elites of their class have been taken advantage of for the last 500 plus years. So what white people with the West and their system are experiencing is that they no longer have the population to run the system they created. They no longer have the people in place to control the system that they created to keep everybody else who's not white, Anglo-Saxon, Christian male and their second-class citizens, white, Christian, Anglo-Saxon females at the top, you know, in their respective positions. So what they're trying to do, since their population numbers have been going down and their institutions they can no longer control, because before you know it, everybody's popping up inside, every black person is popping up inside institutions. When you hear black people who don't live in the DMV, black people who don't live in metropolitan areas, black people who live in other parts of America, when you hear them regurgitate the same talking points that the right-wing Christian conservatives, that the right-wing Republican conservatives talk about when they talk about bureaucrats, when they talk about non-governmental people making decisions in the government, what that means is the people in the government who are running the government slowly but surely are black people and Latinos and Indians and Asians who are government employees. And there are government employees who run different departments, and they affect policy and they make actual change, right? All policymakers are not voted in, right? So what Republicans want to do, they want to change because the federal government, like this system and apparatus, I'm telling you, most of them are ran by black people. There's a lot, like we are really in the federal government, where they are contractors and government employees. If you notice, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, black. Secretary of State, black, right? Look at all the major important positions within this government apparatus that we complain about that's against us. Look at all the major, the black people who are taking these positions. And here's the thing. You have to play your part. In politics, you have to pander to certain groups to get to where you want. Individually, politics is a nasty game, all right? But here's the thing. Black people are not only infiltrating the liberal side, right? So on the liberal side, the black people infiltrating that structure, that infrastructure. And when you get enough black people, and that's how it works, even if the first original black people that got in there, they're pandering to this, pandering to the Jewish people, they're pandering to white people, they're doing all this because they have to in order to get votes, in order to put forth any agenda they have in mind, right? And sometimes it looks bad, you can't please everybody. But when enough black politicians get in, all of a sudden, they're no longer afraid to make political moves because they have other people backing them up that look like them, that have the same agenda as them. So it's powers in numbers. So what's happening is slowly but surely more black people are participating in the political process. More black people are starting to participate in voting, right? Along with the youth, right? Let's not forget about the youth, who consists of a lot more black people than they used to, all right? All right, so more black people are even coming aware. So the thing is, the system has to run on a lie. The lie that white people are in charge, only white people can be in charge. They have to run everything. But so the Republicans are trying to change that. They want to make sure that the non-elected positions that affect actual change in policies, the so-called bureaucrats, they want to make sure that those people are all conservative. You see, most of the black people and the Spanish people and the Asian people who are bureaucrats in the government, their political affiliation is unknown. They can be Republicans, they can be conservative, they can be independent. You don't know, right? But the thing is, most policies in America, actual policies that we promote, because keep in mind, this whole 2 years we've been talking about Donald Trump, the convicted rapist and criminal, and Joe Biden, freaking basically weekends at Bernie's. All right, this whole time we've been talking about how old they are, how stupid they are, but not once have we talked about what policies, what are you going to put forth in the future to better America? Notice we haven't talked about policy yet. Not one time. No policy. No, this is what I'm going to do for the American people in the future. These are the things I'm going to do on day one. Except for Trump saying he want to be a dictator on day one. We already know what that means. So the conservatives and the Heritage Foundation, their whole campaign, and you got to admire it, because they're doing what we need to do. We should be looking at Project 2025 and we should be reversing it and be like, yeah, we're going to do that too. Yeah. What you're doing, we're going to do that. Because we have the numbers, we have the resources, we have the know-how, right? We just don't have the organization, and we have not organized ourselves into that fashion. We don't have any a group that black people as a whole are galvanizing behind, who have an agenda to push something like that forward. But yeah, we should have our own Project 2025, Black Project 2025, right? We should. But anyway, back to conservative Project 25, which, by the way, because if you notice, a lot of the black Hunarians and their white masters, they're talking about Project 2025, and not one of them have read the whole thing and heard the actual words from them themselves, right? So you got liberals and Democrats saying all this crazy stuff, right? But not quite telling us what page is it on, what chapter is this on, right? Let me read this for myself, right? And we got the Republicans telling you, don't worry about it, it's nothing. What you talking about? This is not Donald Trump's agenda. What? Yeah. So what I'm doing, and this is very tedious work, and it's going to take me probably the rest of this week and the rest of next week. I am uploading an audio transcript of the entire Project 2025. So there's no way, there's absolutely no way anybody can miscue anything. And I'm doing it unbiased like. I'm not putting my opinion, nothing. This is straight up recording the whole 999 pages. I'm doing it audio. You know how much work it takes to do that? All right, I'm putting a lot of dedication in this, and I already know a lot of people ain't gonna watch it. I ain't gonna listen to it because they wasn't gonna read it, and half of them barely ain't gonna listen to it, but some will. So that's why I'm putting it up there, because once it's on the internet, it's always up there. So just know, Project 2025 is serious, bro. They want to take away a lot of our rights. Project 25, they are trying to take away a lot of rights, and they're using a lot of big words that you might want to crack your dictionary open up to see. They're using a lot of sentences that are very broad and has the ability to be plausible deniability is able to be used in all this. Because plausible deniability is what white Western European powers use to say, no, we're not trying to take over the world. What do you mean? Even though you see them doing it. You can literally watch them doing it. You know, we're not doing what you see. We didn't say what you just heard me say. I didn't say that. Yeah, you heard me say it, but I didn't say that. Yeah, you watched me do it, but I mean, I didn't do that. It was AI. It had to be AI, right? So the problem is that the tricks that they're using no longer work because we have access to the information now. Before, we just didn't have access to the information. That's why they were able to get away with it. So they can say Project 2025, use a bunch of big words that nobody ever used in their day-to-day life, and then guess what? You're like, it ain't nothing, right? So you go about your day, you go about your life, and little shit start to change, and you start to complain and wonder why it's changing. But what you wasn't paying attention to, they had the whole agenda written out. They told you that's what they want to do, and you supported them. Y'all supported us. So every black person that's supporting Donald Trump, every black person that's supporting the Republicans are supporting Project 25. They're supporting Project 2020. Matter of fact, I would say this. If you support Joe Biden to continue to run for the presidency, you're supporting Donald Trump. That's a vote for Donald Trump, and that's a vote for Project 2025. How about that? If you support Donald Trump or you support Joe Biden, you supporting Project 2025. Because obviously, if you were, I'm not sure what planet anybody living on, but I think it's clear as day that when we say that the president doesn't run the country by himself, it's clear as day he's not running the country. Joe Biden's not running the country. So Joe Biden, he's definitely not running the country. No way. Other people are running the country. His administration is running the country. When you think about a president, don't think about him himself and all the shit he said. Think about who is he going to put in his administration. What kind of judges is he going to elect? Because that's where the power lies, in the judges. Look what happened when Donald Trump was allowed to put 3 Supreme Court judges and hundreds of conservative judges in America. All of a sudden, all these rights are being taken away from him. All these rights that you thought were solid, that's set in stone, are being taken away from you. And they're not done. There's more rights they want to take away from you. There's more. Just by Trump's actions, they done took away affirmative action. They done took away the white woman's right to choose. Keep in mind, the Republican Party is the same party that used to say, we didn't want to wear little face masks because we couldn't breathe, and we don't want the government in get between me and my doctor. But what did they do when they got power? They specifically decided to get in between patients and their doctors for their own political and religious and ideological reasons. They did it. All right, Roe versus Wade. There was a reason why we needed Roe versus Wade, because we know black people who are qualified get denied because of racism. Because keep in mind, we're in a country where you got to teach white people how not to be racist. We have to teach white people all around the world how to be humans. That's where we at. But you leave it to these black Hunarians to say, hey, no. Let's go over here. Let's go jump in that lava. Let's go jump in that lava pit, right? Let's go jump in the fucking volcano because it's 90 degrees outside, right? Now the Democrats, they've displayed how much they don't give a fuck about us as well, right? They're gonna force us to vote for Joe goddamn Biden, right? And they're not gonna give us any option. You telling me that's all you got is Bernie weekends at Bernie's? That's all we got. So whatever happens, happens. If criminal rapist Donald Trump wins, guess what? Black people gonna be doing just what we've been doing. If Sleepy Joe goddamn weekends at Bernie freaking weekend at Bernie's Joe Biden wins, guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna be dealing with the same shit we've been dealing with. You see, black people, we deal with the same shit anyway. It don't really matter. That's why I don't give a fuck about Joe Biden or Donald Trump, but I know Donald Trump worse. I know the Republicans are worse for us than the Democrats. That is a fact in policy. That's a policy fact. If we didn't talk about I don't care about personal. I don't care about none of it. I'm talking about actual legislation that's signed by the House, by the Senate, that's approved and signed by the president, that's implemented and put into law. I'm talking about the laws that are changed by the judges and that are legislating from the bench. The same thing Republicans used to always blame the Democrats for doing. Legislating from the bench. Now they're legislating from the bench. All the Democrats and Republicans are both white power dominant structures, and we're fighting over basically which white power structure do we want to deal with. I'm telling you right now, the Republican white power structure, you don't want to deal with it. Because y'all black people who think it's cool and chic to vote for Trump, even though you don't know anything about Trump. Anybody saying they voted for Trump, that's because you know nothing about his policies. You ain't been paying attention to shit. You just been paying attention to the mascot and not the game. You've been paying attention to the mascot doing his dances and sounding cool and thinking you can relate to him because he's a criminal, because the society got you thinking that criminality relates to black people. That's how we are so fucked up down the rabbit hole of self-deprecation and destruction and mental illness and freaking we don't have self-esteem issues that we fall for all the bullshit. And you got black people caping hard, burning all their bridges, fighting all their battles, dying on every hill for white people. For white people who don't give a shit about neither one of us. Think about it. All that energy. That's why I put my energy in Pan-African shit that affects all black people. I don't care. I don't have a team white. I'm not on team white. I'm on team black, team African, right? Now, for us Africans that gotta live in America, we need to know what Project 2025 is. You got to know, especially if you plan on staying in America. See me, I don't care. You see, I done made my right decisions. I'm retired. I'm not worried about work. I'm not worried about where my money's gonna come from. I'm good. I don't got to do shit. Right? And guess what? I got a compound in Africa, business in Africa, shit go hell in a handbag here all the way. I can get up and I'm getting ready. I gotta get to the point where I can get up, pull my whole family, roll the fuck out. I'm gonna be able to do it. Pan-Africans who putting in work, we gonna be able to do it. It's the rest of you that's thinking the shit gonna stay sweet and you ain't gonna have nowhere to go. Y'all gonna have to deal with this Project 2025. So if you're determined to stay in America and deal with Project 2025 and you think it's just some bullshit, right? Well, that's on you. You're not prepared. But for all you who want to be prepared, I'm putting up the entire transcript. You can literally just lead it, let it play, and do whatever you're doing. Play your video games, cook your food, go on a walk, whatever you're doing. You should listen to the whole thing. I'm listening to the whole thing. I have to in order to record it. I'm doing the whole thing. Just listen to it and you'll see. Are these the policies? Because you do not get it mistaken. Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation are hand in hand. Donald Trump first of all, Donald Trump's not a conservative. He's not a conservative. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's not a liberal. He's Donald Trump, right? He's an authoritarian, spoon-fed, rich piece of shit that's always been an embarrassment to the higher class. Donald Trump has always been an embarrassment to the upper class. Always been an embarrassment to the 1%, right? So if y'all want that, y'all want Project 25. You want some more of your rights taken away. You want the white power structure to gain more power. If you want you want to go back to America's great back in the 50s, you want that type of shit, go on, vote for Donald Trump. Or go on, keep supporting Joe Biden to stay in the presidency so Donald Trump can win. Because I don't even know if Joe Biden ain't even gonna make it. Shit, the way he looking, you know what I'm saying? He at the end of the road. Hell, Donald Trump at the end of the road. But the people behind Donald Trump, they just need him to get in so they can do it, so their administration can do what they want to do. And the Heritage Foundation is the #1 conservative think tank in America and around the world that is pushing these agendas that naive, dumb black people are falling for because they don't know anything about politics. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how shit works. They just want to tell you how they feel about shit because they're nothing but they're impulse. They don't have impulse control. They're just emotional and they just want to be important and relevant in life. So they come on TV and they run their mouths every day, but they're not saying anything. That's why I can make a video and say more in 20 minutes than some of these coonarians will say in 2-3 hours, running their mouths all by themselves, even with a pen on. They still doing all the talking because they just want to hear themselves talk instead of really being about this shit and talking about shit that really matter. All right. Anyway, like I said, that is a guy wearing a dress. Liberals. All right. Anyway, that's what that was. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Project 2025 is important. So if you want to know what it is for real, and you don't want to hear a bunch of people talking about how they feel about about a snippet, or about somebody said this was in it, somebody said that was in it, somebody said that they read, that they heard that this part was in there. No, it's right there. If you actually care, read it for yourself. If you don't bother. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach some. I'm out.